Hello, darlings. It's been ages, I think, since I've done this. But you know what? You know, when I think and I have stuff on my mind, I have to share it with you, especially when it comes to the sister sheds. So I was thinking about, how can I put this now? I want to put this in the right context. And I have to just say it as I see it because that's the only way I can be. That's just me. I'm just one of these people with no filter, aka / having a filter. So I was thinking about me, right, and women and the way we come together in these groups and stuff, and what if I was on the other end of a sister shed. So if I was a member, or if I was if I was a woman in the community and I heard about this sister shed, but let's say I'm going to give an example of my life. So here we go, Sherin, the open book. So I'm going to let you in a little bit deeper today. So I know that my two boys have had a tough time from a very young age, we'll say starting from 2 and 3. And that would have been when I lost my mum. And then they lost me to a certain level. They definitely lost part of me. And we all know then that Sherin built herself back up. But during the time that they had lost me, I'd say being present. I'd say being like really present in her life, because I wasn't present in my own life. I was scattered. I was brokenhearted. And then obviously 10 months later, losing my dad was another double whammy. And then on the kids' regard, they lost kind of, we'll say when they were 5 or 6, kind of lost we'll say, a constant relationship with their dad. They have a relationship with their dad, which is fine, but it was like a consistent relationship physically due to circumstances in his life. So they definitely had a bit of a tough road, I'd say, to kind of walk up and to kind of be directed on the right path. And thankfully I came back into my presence then, which brought me presently back into their life. And there was a time for my youngest son, who is the one with the ASD, with the autism and the ADHD and dyspraxia and stuff. And he was obviously struggling with his own, we'll say, needs and, these kind of issues that he had in his life, in his own beautiful little head had to deal with, And I only started to link in with that when I became present with me again. So, but before I actually got like really present, and even when I got present with myself, it still took a while, like when I was trying, but I didn't know how to fix things. I didn't know how to make it right. I was feeling guilty. I was feeling, oh God, what's wrong with these kids? Like, what's not recognizing that they'd gone through their own like kind of trauma. And like trauma and abuse doesn't have to be like physical. I won't even say abuse, to be honest with you. I'd say trauma, like just when a parent can't be completely present because they're not doing great themselves, And then it causes a whole reel of judgment. So judgment from me to my own children, like judging, like, what the hell, like, what's wrong with him, like my son used to like hit me bad, like he used to be so angry. And this was just after, like I'd say in between of him being diagnosed and stuff, which made me realise, right, he has these needs as well and these issues. But at the same time, he was still, part of it would have been because he's probably angry, like, with the fact that, like, he's just getting no kind of input into his life, or boundaries, or, and I didn't even know how, to be honest. I didn't even know what to do on that level. So, anyway, that's when the game began. That's when the learning process had to start. So I'm trying to go right back. So then when I started to recognise that, again, being present with myself, becoming present with them, I had to reach out for help. I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, he's out of control. He's just wild. I love him dearly, but Jesus, I feel like killing him sometimes, like, I don't want to kill him. I don't want to hit him. But he's battering me. Like, he's actually killing me. And I didn't know if it was because of me or because of the circumstances that surrounded my life. And then shame and guilt and judgment and everything came. And not only was I judging them and feeling ashamed of them, I was knowing that people were probably judging me. Like, I mean, who wants to see a child jump in the back of the car and pull the hair out of his mother? Like, you know, thinking what's going on with that child? So, and me just screaming like, stop or whatever, you know. So look, that was the guts of the mess, right? Now, some people have it together. Some women are just on point, and they know exactly what to do in these situations, but I genuinely didn't. So I had to link in for help, and I was like, I need to fix this. This is my responsibility, and I don't care if I'm going to be judged, and I don't care if I'm going to be ashamed. The fact is, I can fix this, because you know we can fix everything, and nothing stays the same if we choose to make a change. So I chose to make the change, and I was working on myself, and I thought, right, I need to work with them because they are the extended part of me, you know, and if I'm not right, they're not right, and if they're not right, I'm not right. So it's like one big circle of madness, you know. So I done that, and when I reached out, it was like, I remember doing a couple of things, obviously, like, right, so what's happening here, and how's this happening, how's this, and fix this and fix that. So I was doing a bit. But there was one thing mentioned to me, and it was called the non-violent resistance. I think it was the NVR course. I'll actually double check that before I post this, and I'll put it in the comment. And it was about how us as mothers, with young children, and even older children, like, but young children kind of, why is it going all dark there? Kind of are like a bit aggressive, like, and you know, like, I'm a single mother at that point, you know, so, and it's just me and the kids. Obviously the impact as well, obviously we had like my family and the kids' family and stuff, you know, that I could talk to, and they were helping, they would listen and stuff, you know. But the one that was going to give the focus, the one that was going to be able to make the change is the mother, you know, because that's who they're always with. And the funny thing is, when a child is reaching out and acting out, and they act out on the ones they love the most, and that's their parents, you know. So anyway, I done this course. I think it was 10 weeks or something. But geez, it gave me such an insight into how I react to my son, how we can step away from the situation, how we can try and resolve the situation without screaming, or without getting anxious, or without feeling guilty, or without crying, and, you know, all this. So it's absolutely brilliant course. And I can honestly say it definitely changed my relationship with my son. Me and my son now, I mean, that child tells me things I don't want to hear because he's that open with me. Like, the relationship is solid. We do have our moments. I mean, like, every parent's going to have their moments, and nothing is perfect about me. Nothing, as we know, there's no such thing as perfect, but I know it's better. My relationship with my son is with two of my sons, but with him. And remember, like, also when he was acting out like that, my other son was suffering. So he was on another level of like giving out. Now, he wouldn't be like aggressive or violent with me, but he would be angry all the time because that was the energy of the house is so low, you know. It was such a hard time, like. So I was thinking about that yesterday, and I was thinking, I don't even know. I wouldn't have even known about that workshop had I not reached out. And it's not easy for everyone to reach out. It's not easy to walk into an agency or, you know, where I know the resources are there. I know there's so much there out there to help. But it's not easy to walk in and say, listen, I was wondering, could you help me? Like, my son kills me. He's only 10. And that's how it felt. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why he doesn't stop, you know. And I didn't want to, like, you know, I was talking to my brother the other day, and I was like, imagine I hadn't have went that way. Imagine I started to become violent with him. Imagine the two of us, like, imagine at that point 3 years ago. Now, my son's a big kid. They're the same height as me, they're stocky, and they're going to be really tall, I would say. But can you imagine had I have gone down that road of just obviously defending myself, but in an aggressive manner? And I'm not judging anyone for doing that, because I mean, it would have been at that point had I not, because you think I'm just fighting back, like I have to somehow restrain him from hurting me. But at this age, 3 years on, that would have been a war. Like, can you imagine we were still like that? There'd be so many things that would be, there'd be that disconnect, there would be that anger with each other, there would that, like, we probably always love each other because we're mother and son, you know, like there's still the energy of love is going to be there. But is there going to be a solid foundation for us? Is there going to be an openness of being able to discuss with each other the process of life and how emotions feel and how I feel when you do this and how he feels when I do that. So much came out of that 10-week training. And, you know, me and Rachel are massive advocates for workshops and stuff like that. And anyway, so why wouldn't I have thought of the reason why I'm thinking of this is I just want to shout out to all you queens out there. First thing I want to say is when you have your babies, and we just there to learn from them as much as they're there to learn from us. We learn to be mothers. We learn to try and do the right thing. We learn by them. We learn from them because we can only understand them through connecting with them and from the experience of a mother and a child. So you're doing amazing. You're doing a brilliant job. And even if when I wasn't doing a great job, I was still doing a great job because it got me to where I am now. I wasn't in a great place, but I was still there. They were still my children. I just didn't know how to handle myself, never mind the kids. So I'm blessed and I'm very humble and grateful for the connection that I do have with them now. And I still make massive mistakes. I mean, I'm not saying I don't shout at my kids. I always shout at them, like, you know, they don't like fully like bow down to me, like, you know, and I don't want them to, but, you know, there's still that like kind of normal relationship, mother-son, but it's an easy relationship. It's an understanding relationship. It's a open relationship. It's a trusting relationship with the hiccups in the middle, because that's still learning. They're only 10 and 11. I haven't hit the teens yet. So that's going to be a whole nother ball game. And I'll do a million workshops up until the point, because that worries me, you know, when they come to teen and then adulthood. So I wanted, the main point of this big essay, you may as well say, this big long video, is to say if there's any women out there that feel that they're going through the same, or feel that this sounds a bit like their life, please link in, because I'm going to try and get funding or sponsorship maybe from somebody to host a big meeting, a big workshop to deliver that NVR course for anyone that is in that situation or feels that they're going toward that situation. I don't think that we have to go and label ourselves 100% with 100 agencies to be passed for that course. I think every woman that's in a situation like mine, like I was, or in a situation where they feel like they can't really figure it out, how to stop this kind of attitude, this anger, this, you know, it all comes from somewhere. Unfortunately, like, I even have to own that it comes from somewhere. Like, Sonny's would have come from Ollie's anger towards me. Ollie's anger probably came from issues that he's seen me going through, issues that he had with his dad, and then issues of his own, you know, so, and same as Sonny. So just happens, part of life. It's the process. Nobody is perfect. No one's ever going to be perfect. I mean, because we learn from them, and they all have their own personalities as well. So I want to try and create a space for women that have this kind of issue. I'm going to try, can't promise, you know, if we say we'll do something, we'll do our best. And I'm going to see, can I get someone to deliver a workshop, but I'll hold it. If possible, girls, I have to obviously do my homework. I'm jumping on here because my brain goes 20 to the dozen. And see, can we organise that for some women? Maybe not in singular sister sheds, because the sister sheds are doing their own thing in workshops, and some people haven't got children, or some people's kids are well grown up, or, you know, and some people aren't going through that situation. So no point in bringing it into an individual sister shed throughout all the sister sheds. But an overall, we could maybe try and get someone to deliver that program. And again, all the women can learn from each other, and they can all hear each other's stories, and they can Yeah, it would be brilliant. And they know they're not alone neither, because it happens. I mean, you might not talk about it, but it definitely happens. I know it happens because it happened to me. So on that level, I just want to say, have a fabulous day. Enjoy your weekend. Smash the week. Love yourself. Care for yourself. And don't worry. Everything can be changed. Change with choice. Make the choice to change. Make the choice to change. And on that note, ladies, love and light. Talk to you all soon. Don't forget, PM me, because the more people that have to do that course, the more funding, not funding, sponsorship. I think we'll go for sponsorship and ask, can someone sponsor that program for us? And let's smash it. Talk to you soon. Bye.